Hey, everybody. This is Mother Teresa coming to you from Caldwell Manor with Grandstanding with Mother Teresa. So, for you all that are coming in, please be sure to like and share the video. And also, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe not only to this channel or to this platform, but also subscribe to my Hello Sister Sherry. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also have TikTok, Instagram, just a lot of different places that you can find me. And so, again, as I stated before, I am trying to learn how to navigate all of this social media, these platforms and everything, so I can hopefully be able to spread a little bit of good news to the people that are joined in, and not only spreading a little bit of good news, but also being able to listen to some of the things that you all have that's going on in your life. And so, hey, Net. And so we could just kind of talk about those different things. Well, let me just say, on tonight, I will have to say that my mom, I don't think, has joined on with us. You all pray for my mom. She is in the hospital right now, so y'all say a word of prayer for my mom. I know that she's going to be okay, but you all pray for my mom. You all know that normally she is one of the first ones that's typically logging in on Tuesday nights. So maybe someone will be able to get her logged in, and maybe not. But you all please say a word of prayer for my mom, Miss Everline Eigner. So we're going to jump right in. I was listening to something earlier in the week. Hey, Candace, Sister Valencia, Sister Renita. Thank you all for joining me on tonight. I want to say that one of the things that I heard earlier in the week really kind of struck a chord with me, because it's something that I've talked about. Yes, Ned, all is well. It's something that I've shared before. This young lady, she was talking about using the oil that you have, and being able to use the oil in your life to propel you to do either business or just using the oil. And so some of the people, and I knew what she was talking about, from a biblical standpoint. She was talking about the lady who had the containers of oil, and she sold that oil. She started out with nothing but a little bit, and Jesus instructed her to go and borrow pots from her neighbors, and she was to fill those oil containers, and that's what she was to use to pay like her bills, her debts, and different things like that. And as long as she was pouring, the oil kept flowing, and until it filled up all the containers that she had. And she used that oil to be able to pay her debts. And I think in the word it says, and to live, to be able to survive. And that was her blessing. And so, and as the young lady was telling the story, hey, Otis, OD, I saw Otis, but hey, OD, as the young lady was sharing her story about people using the oil that God has given them, some began to think that she was talking literally about oil. And so, and they were saying selling oil, so their minds kind of went to the carnal thing, the natural oil. And so she had to come back on and explain what she was talking about. And I used to tell people that when we lived in Nacogdoches in Appleby, we lived on about 12 acres of land, heavily wooded land. It had lots of different types of trees and lots of different, plants. Just had a lot of different things that was on that property. And one of the things, when I was, much younger, when we first bought that property, God has spoke to me about using what's in your hands. And so, and I would think about that, and I was like, God, but what do I have in my hands that I can use? And so God began to really break that thing down for me, or to me. For some of you all already know where I'm going. God equips us, so he gives us, gifts and talents and anointings and callings and those things that the anointed things that he blesses us with. And we don't want to be guilty of sitting on those things. One of the things that I do know that, hey, Eb, one of the things that I do know is that when God blesses you or he puts something in your hands, and I'm not saying like naturally in your hands, but when he gifts you with something or a talent, and I may be rambling a little bit, so y'all bear with me, I am going somewhere. But when he gives you those abilities, when he gives you those talents, then we are created to, first of all, to praise him and to honor him, but use those gifts and talents, hey, sent, but also use those gifts and those talents in order to win others or to represent him well in the kingdom on this earth. One of the things that I know now that God blessed me to be an encourager. God blessed me to be able to speak, words to encourage others. And so I use that. Hey, Kiki, I use that. I use those things, or I use my gift that God has given me, not only in my daily work. Hey, Trey, not only in my daily work on my job, but also in my everyday life. And so I want to be found guilty of being an encourager. I want to be found guilty of speaking kind words or speaking words of encouragement to other people and giving them words that, of encouragement to push them to live the best life that they can live. And so when we are thinking about what it is that you have in your hands or what God has gifted you in, what is that? What are those things? Some of the people that are on here, I know that, I can call out some of the things that I know that you're great at doing, but you need to discover those things for yourself and know those things for yourself or what those things are that God has blessed you with. And so in some of the times that when we think about some of the times when we think about, well, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing? What did God put me on this earth for? I challenge each of you all to figure that thing out. One of the things that I was looking at the other day is my brother-in-law had posted pictures of the greens from his garden, and they looked beautiful. And I can remember a conversation that him and OD were having at my mother's birthday party, and they were comparing and talking about, the greens in their garden and the different things in their garden. You all, some people, that's a gift and a talent that not everybody has. I don't know if first of all, I know I definitely wouldn't have the patience to be planting a garden anywhere, less long trying to, harvest that garden and everything like that. But for some people like Odie and my brother-in-law, Kevin, that's one of the things that they do, and they do it well. So what are some of the things that you all do? Hello there, Sister Veronica. Speaking about, the different things that God has placed in our hands. So what are those things that that God has gifted you in? What are some of the things that you realize or you've come to realize is your gift from God? And how are you all using those gifts? My girls, both of my girls, they sing. And Candace sings more now than what Net does. And that's something that, I wish that I had the voices that they have, but I don't. And that's okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. But that is a gift that God blessed them with. And guess what? They use those gifts. They use those gifts. They use them to in the church. They use them for the glory and for the honor of God. And so this is what we have to do, you all. We have to make sure that we are not just sitting on those gifts. We're not just holding those gifts for ransom and not putting them out. We have people, I was speaking about my brother-in-law, but my sister Grace, she has turned her passion into a very profitable business. She's a banker. Her background is in banking and in finance and a real estate. But when she retired and opened up Sweet Spot, Mimi's Sweet Spot. And you're talking about the most delicious treats that I've probably ever tasted. And she does extremely well with it. So that is something that God blessed her to be able to do. And I think about, the Jacksons. And I know they're not on here because I don't think they listen, not yet. But Jeremy and his family, they have the Jack Cakes. And that was, born out of a gift or a talent that God had put into not only his hands, but his grandmother and his aunties and, so many of them that were great cooks and bakers. And so they are taking that gift and they are able to make a profit with it. Now, a lot of people may say, well, do you use the gifts and the talents that God has given you for to gain money? Absolutely. One of the things that I say this because yes, Mimi's Sweet Spot and Jack Cakes. Thank you, Candace. One of the things that we do know is that people will often say is that once you find your purpose, hello, Sister Jackie, when you find your purpose and you find the thing that you are really, really good at, a lot of times that opens the door for you to be able to do that in your everyday life in order to be able to make a living doing that. Some of us are blessed to be able to have been able to utilize the gift and the talent or what God has blessed us with in order for us, and that's our job. That's what we do every day. And I thank God for allowing me to discover a long time ago, and as for many of you all who have been listening to me for any length of time, you all know that I shared, hey Kinda May, I shared that when I was a young girl, I always knew what I wanted to do as an adult. I just didn't know what it was called. I didn't know it was called a social worker. I didn't know that was a term for that, but I knew the work that I'm doing now, is what I've always wanted to do. And because I've always wanted to do that, God opened the door and he allowed me to be able to do that. And so when I get up every morning, I often will say, I love my job. I love being able to go to work and to be able to deal with the students, deal with the adults that work in our department, and to be able to offer a word of encouragement, to not only offer a word of encouragement, but also to try to represent Christ well. And also, hello, Sister Lynetta, also to be that person who is level-headed, who is cool, who is calm, because if I am the person who is going to encourage others, guess what? I cannot be in a state where I'm not calm. Okay, so I try to maintain, that sense of being able to be calm, and also try to make sure that I'm prayed up and I have the words in order for me to be a blessing to other people. And so because of that, and again, like I said, I'm so very grateful that God used everything that he had put within me to be able to then go out and this is my job. This is what I do, not only, with my family, with my friends, with anybody I come in contact with, but I just so happen to be able to make a living doing what God has blessed me to be able to bless me to do. And so for many of you all that are listening and that are watching or that has tuned in, one of the things that I do know is that it doesn't take a lot for us to figure out what God has blessed us with or the gifts that he's put in us. And hello, Sister Jackie. Now, let me tell y'all, talking about gifts and talents and anointings, one thing that I can say is Sister Jackie know that God has blessed her and anointed her to play that Hammond organ. You know, I've never seen anybody play the organ the way that Jackie Henderson can play the organ. And not only that, you all, you can tell that she gets joy out of playing that organ. And so when I talk about the different gifts and the different talents and the things that God blesses us with, or the things that he puts in our hands, and us being able to utilize those things, that's what I'm talking about, you all. Learn what your gift and your talent is. Learn what God has put in your hands, and don't squander it away. Don't let it just sit there. It's a joy to watch her play. You're absolutely right, Candace. Don't just let it just sit there and be dormant. You know, there are things that, again, I can say about so many people that are on here about the different, the talents and the things that God has called you to do. But I need you all to know what it is, and I need you all to be moving forward in that if you're not doing so. So I started out by talking and sharing this, the thing that I heard this young lady talking about, the oil, and how God has, used the oil that you have. So many times we will have things within our possession, and I'm not talking about that is deep within or that God has given us, but sometimes we have things, and I talked about this before, but we have things that are in our possession that can be a blessing to other people. So when I talk about using the things that's in your hands, using the things that you have in your possession, some of the things that is sitting around our houses, get rid of it. If it's not doing you any good, give it to somebody, sell it, or whatever. We are living in a time where financially, there are some that are struggling to make ends meet. And when there is a struggle to make ends meet, realize what you have in your hands, first of all, but then also start looking at how you can make money. I look at some of the young people that are on social media, and I realize that some of these people, they make their living off of social media. Well, guess what? Most of these people are probably, they love to talk, first of all. They may be good salesmen. They may be, just have a very warm personality. Sometimes it's the silliness on it that draws other people in. But they have figured out a way how to entertain people or to get people watching them, and that's how they are making their money. So I'm not going to knock it. I am definitely not going to knock that, because that is another source of income. One of the other things that someone was telling me, that their goal was to have multiple streams of income. I think about 5 streams of income. And so that can be something that is, if that's your goal, if that's something that you're wanting to have, then I would say go for it. Figure out what you can do, and then go for it. Not everybody has the same gift, again, like I stated before, but figure out what it is that you enjoy doing, that you're gifted at, that you can do it with ease, that it doesn't necessarily put a strain on you, and that you would, some people say you would do it for free. I'm not going to say that, because I do understand that people have to make a living. So what is it, some of the things that the people that are on here, if you know your purpose, if you know your gift, or you know your anointing, what is it? And don't feel like you're boasting or bragging or whatever, but what is the thing that God has called you to do? And if you don't mind, put it in the chat and let's talk about it. I want to say thank you very much to Sister Sherry Morgan, she does a wonderful job with her daily good mornings. And you all may say that is such a novelty, an idea, but guess what? Not everybody has somebody to tell them good morning. But Sister Sherry gets on Facebook, and she may have other platforms as well. But every morning you can find a beautiful scripture or a beautiful picture, something that's going to say good morning. And for a lot of people, that is what they need to get their day started. One of the things that a young lady, as I was walking into the building on Monday morning, one of the young ladies that works in the tax office, she spoke to me, and I spoke back, and she said, I really enjoy your Monday morning motivations. And I said, well, thank you. She said, a lot of times that's what I'm waiting on to get my week started. And I told her again, thank you, of course. I said, I'll try to keep it up. And so not only do I do my Monday morning motivations for Facebook, but I also take that to work. And I send out emails to a large number of people that work in our district. And it's a Monday morning motivation, something to just get your week started. And it's just words. But guess what? Sometimes, I get feedback and they'll say, this is just the word that I needed to make it through the week. These are the words that I needed to make it through the day. And I just depend on God to give me either, what quotes that I need to send out. And also I depend on him, to be able to do what I do. And so again, what are some of the things that you all are doing? I know that several of you all, let me see who's on here. Let me see if I can call out some of the things that you all are doing. Okay. Since I don't see anybody sharing what they're doing, again, what is your gift? What is your talent? Hey, that's right. Hey, kinfolk, Sister Renita, what is the gift? What has God anointed you to do? Or what are some of your talents that you have that you are using? I know that there's many, but is there one or two that you can share? And congratulations on your promotion. I understand that you received a promotion not too long ago, so congratulations on that. Anybody, everybody, come on, tell me what's going on. What are the things that you're doing? Laughter. Okay, all right. Guess what? You know what? Sometimes, and you are absolutely right, Sister Renita, not only having that, but being able to encourage everybody else around you to laugh. Because I'm going to tell you, sometimes life can get so very hard and very difficult that we just need somebody to make us laugh. I remember Elder Henderson used to say something about laughter and laughing and different things like that. If you all haven't laughed in a good little while, you all probably have been crying quite a bit. Because I can tell you that when you laugh a lot and when you are, have that, then it kind of eases you. It kind of, takes a lot of that other things off of you. So if you haven't been laughing, you've probably been crying. Okay. So we need you to laugh more. And sometimes it can be the most corniest of jokes or the most corniest of things to get you laughing. Sometimes when I'm scrolling on Facebook and I'll get into, just different little funny things and I'll just be laughing and laughing. And my husband will say, well, what you watching over there? And I'll say, well, hold on, I'm going to send it to you because I want him to laugh as well. But sometimes, like I said, it's the funniest, and it doesn't have the corniest things that will cause us to laugh. Somebody else, what is something else that you all are doing that is something that you have in your hands that God has gifted you with? And again, like I said, it's not that you're bragging. It's really that you're acknowledging the fact that you know what your purpose is, that you know what God has gifted you with. You know that this is something that God has called you to do. And not only that has it called you to do it, but it's being a blessing to other people. So come on, you all, don't be shy. Tell me what you all are doing. And on my side, it's just crickets because I'm here by myself. So it's very quiet. Feeding and sending cards. Thank you. Yes, feeding and sending cards. All right. That is good. That is good. That's another thing too. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody will take the time to, and when you say feeding, I'm thinking you're talking about, maybe serving others, of course, if you're in church, you may be part of the hospitality committee, but then also sending cards. Yes, not everybody is going to take the time to sit down and write a card out And so thank you very much, Sister Renita, for sharing that. That is something kind of like a lost art. Speaking of that, you all, how many of you all remember learning how to write in cursive in the third grade? Maybe the fourth, but I want to say it probably started in about the third grade. And the reason why I'm asking that is because just recently I was talking to someone. Oh, taking people out to eat. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you. Sister Sherry, the other Sister Sherry says she will call or text friends and coworkers just to check on them. Thank you. Great things. Great things. So let me tell you all about this writing, what Sister Sherry was saying, and also not Sister Sherry, but Sister Renita was saying about writing, sending cards, is that they were talking about some of the young people, or now they're not teaching handwriting or cursive writing anymore in the schools. And I know that to be a fact because I was asking, I remember learning how to write in cursive. Yeah. And probably Sister Sherry, was it about the third or fourth grade? Because that's kind of when I remember. I remember a couple of years ago, I was asking my son, or I would, always send him different things. I would write things to him and I would write in cursive. Now, my girls had no problems reading in cursive, but my son could not read in cursive. And he was like, I can't read that. And I was like, why can't you read that? And he was like, I don't know how to read in cursive. Matter of fact, he said, I don't know how to write in cursive. And I think that's when I realized that they were not teaching kids how to write in cursive anymore. But yeah, that's a lost art, because when you think about it, a lot of our important papers and documents that are historical in nature, a lot of those things are written in cursive. So just think about it. A large majority of our society, if they don't know how to read or write in cursive, they're not going to be able to read some of those historical documents. So y'all think about that. Y'all think about that. I know I was kind of rambling a little bit, You all, it has been great talking with you all on tonight. And I'm going to cut it a little bit short because I do need to call my mom. I want to call and check on my mom and make sure that she's all right. So thank you all for joining in with me on tonight. And I hope that you all come back and be with me on next week whenever I come back on. I'm typically here on every Tuesday night from 7 to 7:30. I try not to stay long because I know that most of you all are just getting in, or some of you all are just getting in from work. And so when you have your own things that you're trying to do, you're trying to get dinner ready, you're trying to get those kids ready. Thank you, Sister Sherry. You're trying to get those kids ready. You're trying to get ready for the next day. So because of that, I don't want to keep you very long. I just want to kind of jump on here and just say, hey, how you doing? And hopefully you've enjoyed everything that I've put out on tonight. Again, I ramble, and that is okay. That is just okay. All right. Everybody have a good night. We will see you all the next time. And thank you all for joining me. I'm trying to find my music. I can't find it, but that's okay also. You all have a good night, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye, everybody.